Good afternoon. I'm calling to order a meeting of the North Andover Select Board on August 10th, 2020 at 3 p.m. I need to read a statement that pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the North Andover Board of Selectmen is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by tuning in to Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26 or online at www.northandovercam.org. If you have any public comments, please email selectmen@northandoverma.gov. Just would like to have a roll call now of attendance. So if we could start alphabetically by last name.
Laura Bates here.
Thank you.
Phil DiColagero here.
Rosemary Smedili here.
Rosemary.
Richard Valancourt here.
Chris Nobley here. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we have a short agenda today. We're going to start with consent items. We just have two. The first is a vote to sign the warrant for the primary on March 1st. And a copy of this has been included in our packet. This needs to be posted by the 24th of August. Dee, I didn't know if there's anything more, or Lori, that you would want to add before we proceed with this.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And the only other consent item is a request by Chief McCarthy to surplus Emergency 1 Cyclone fire engine. Again, this is an engine that they're requesting surplus. It's a 2004 engine and will be traded for a 2020 Pierce Enforcer fire engine. So 16 years, giving us pretty good service. Anything else that anybody would want to add to that? Not hearing. We've read the consent items here. I just need a motion for these two consent items.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve both matters listed under consent items.
I'll second that. Rosemary Smedili.
Thank you very much. And if we could just do a roll call by last name again. Thank you.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColagero, aye.
Votes aye. All in favor, I guess. I'm sorry. Phil?
Phil
Rosemary
DiColagero,
Smedili.
aye.
Okay. I think I heard Rosemary too. Dick, are you connected with us?
I am, but I wasn't sure if Rosemary was heard or not. Richard Valancourt, aye.
And Chris Nobley, aye. Passes a vote of 5 unanimously to all of the consent items. I just need a motion to move into licensing, please.
Motion to move to licensing. This is Richard Valancourt.
Rosemary Smedili. Second that.
Thank you. And we'll do a roll call again, please.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColagero, aye.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
Richard Valancourt, aye.
Chris Nobley, aye. All right. Our licensing chair.
Oh, my goodness gracious, I forgot. We haven't been doing it too long.
That's all right.
Sorry about that, gang.
No
Okay,
problem.
so we have a request from Ashley Pizza of Smolax Farm for a one-day wine and malt license for the Whim Dinner, which has been ongoing for quite some time, series on August 12th and 26th and from 5:30 to 9 p.m.
And I saw there was some communication regarding the size of the gathering and so forth. So they are tuned into the governor's order there. Is that, am I seeing that accurately?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that's the case because of the new request from the governor.
So they did send in an email compliant that they would comply with the less than 50, or they sent some confirmation of that?
No, we don't have any confirmation. We tried to call and also email. We have not heard back. So it's up to the board whether they want to approve with a contingent that obviously they have to comply, or if you don't want to approve, I don't.
And then I have another question. My understanding is that, and this was from, recently from Merrimack College, that once you put sides on a tent, that's no longer considered outdoor space, but indoor space, which further limits the size of the group. So do we know if they're going to leave the sides up on the tent when they have these women dinners?
Good question. I can see if it was in the application.
I didn't see it.
That's interesting. Would that be all sides, Dick, or two, or?
I don't know what the actual rule is, but I just understand when the sides are down, that's considered enclosed space, which limits the number of people, right?
I mean, that makes total sense, right? That's like you're creating a closed space. That would be good to know.
It certainly would be
I know
good to
that's
know.
that's what they're doing with Merrimack College. My understanding is that, with Merrimack, they can only have so many people if the sides are down.
Hmm.
They're restricted, 25 or less.
Having brought forward that information, it seems to make sense to me that we can either, approve it, that they meet the different stipulations that with the new ruling and with that information that Selectman Valencourt brought forward. So it would be up to the board as to whether or not they wanted to do that, as was suggested by Lori as well. So,
Madam Chair, the building inspector is going to confirm whether there are sides or not on the tent. So I don't know if they'll be able to do that in the next 5 minutes, but if you wanted to approve it contingent on it complying, then we can make a note of that.
right, and it's pretty much what I suggested, as you did earlier as well. That there's no way we can move forward without them complying to that. If it's even, Selectman Valencourt, so that's what we heard from Merrimack College, but have we heard anything directly on the flaps being down? And I think the point was very well made, is that if you have two flaps down so that you have air up and two down, is that enough airflow? I think we need to find out about that. And then what happens if it rains?
Yeah.
Now you can't flap down.
Yeah, I just was reviewing the most recent order, and it refers to unenclosed public spaces as beaches, parks, and recreation. So we're going to need to follow up on the size of the tent issue.
Yeah.
But I would certainly hate to not approve something if it's something that they could adhere to, considering the pain that it would not only apply to this, but could potentially apply to all our restaurants as well. That we certainly don't want them to lose any more time or revenue if they can make this happen, if they do need to follow those rules, if they are required. So my recommendation is that we would approve it contingent upon them getting the right information and that they comply.
I'd be okay with that, but I think we would need to have a time frame for them to do that by.
I agree.
I don't think 5 minutes before works. I think some time period prior to this and then just sort of added to this. I think going forward, we may want to put that clarification in somewhere out there for any applicants to, because as the weather, as the weather's at its peak right now, but as we get into the fall, there may be more demand for functions with tents. And so I think we probably want to be tuned into that and let them know that in advance.
So would anybody like to make a motion that, in that regard, that we approve it contingent upon our concerns brought forward today?
So I'll make a motion that we approve the license of Smolak Farm for the 2 Wim Dinner Series on, let me just get the dates right.
12/6.
Okay, on the 12th and the 26th from 5:30 to 9, contingent that they are compliant with the governor's orders, that they are 50 people or less, and then also if there is a requirement that the tent not have sides, that they leave the sides out.
Yeah.
Or if they do need to have the sides down, then they need to further restrict the amount of attendees to 25 or less, including staff. That's my motion.
As long as that is what the recommendation from the governor, correct?
Right.
Okay. So
Correct.
do we have a second?
Chris Nobley here, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye in order of last name.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColigiero, aye.
Chris Nobley, aye.
And me, Richard Valencourt, aye.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. So that would be a unanimous vote. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is request of Kate Bibeau of Stevens Coolidge Place for summer picnic concerts on August 13th, 20th, 27th of 2020 from 5 to 8 p.m. Lori and I spoke about this earlier today. Do we have any more information from the Stevens estate?
No, they've withdrawn the applications, but they are requesting a refund for their 4 events that have been canceled due to COVID.
Okay, so they've withdrawn. So the matter at hand is whether or not to refund their application fees. So I would toss that out to the board. I would assume that we would gladly refund those fees if they can't do it, because especially by action of the government, that would really not be fair. So, so I would entertain a motion and a second and a discussion.
I'll move that, Chris Nobley here, I move that the Board of Selectmen, acting as the license commissioners, approve the request of the Stevens Coolidge Place for a refund of the application fees paid for events that were canceled due to COVID.
We have a second.
I'd like to make an amendment to that we cap $300.
Okay, the amount, okay.
Yeah.
You accept the friendly amendment, Chris, I presume?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have shall we vote on the amendment first, please? Or you'll accept it as friendly? I guess we don't have to, you accept it as friendly. So then do we have a second to the motion?
Laura Bates, second.
Okay, so we have a motion with a friendly amendment and a second. All those in favor say aye by last name. Roll call, please.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColigiero, aye.
Chris Nobley, aye.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. Another unanimous vote. So I guess I would entertain a motion at this point to move out of licensing.
Motion to move out of licensing, Chris Nobley.
Laura
And do
Bates,
we have a
second.
And Laura Bates second. All those in favor say aye. I should almost add on the adjournment to that and just have it all done at once, but we'll give it back to the chair for that portion.
Aye.
So roll call vote, please.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColigiero, aye.
Chris Nobley, aye.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. We are now out of licensing.
All right.
Mr.
And now we're about to adjourn. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 31st of August at 7 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in, and I just need a motion for adjournment, please.
Mr. Chair, Rosemary Smedili, motion for adjournment.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Richard Valencourt.
Thank you. And our roll call.
Laura Bates, aye.
Phil DiColigiero, aye.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
Richard Valencourt, aye.
And Chris Nobley, aye. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you soon.